I don't want to go to bed yet. Erik stared up at me before licking his lips and slowly running his hands under my shirt and up my back. Tingles shot up my spine as his fingers ran over my bare skin, a shuddering moan escaping my lips.
As my princess commands.
Oh my god, stop! Oh god. I need a breather. I have to splash cold water on my face when this is over.
Forward deep within, I can't go through it alone, and I won't leave you on your own. I stand before you now and promise you I am not afraid. I will fight and guide the way. We will rise again to glory, then we'll soar into the sky. If you stop and see, then you just might believe.
Sup guys, the name's Rena Dragneel and welcome back to Seduce Me 2, the Demon War. So the votes were kind of overwhelming and it seems that we are going to pursue Erik. I am actually excited because I love Erik's route. Made me cry a bunch of tears. Probably not more than Matthew, but still made me cry. Anyways, we're gonna get started. I hope you guys enjoy with the crappy quality content that I have. Anyways, let's just go.
Hold up!
Yes, I've played the first game.
Oh, you do know this is Erik's route, right? You know, the second oldest incubus that calls you princess and is seductive and stuff.
Yes, I know. He's my bae. This is why I chose him.
Oh, awesome! Alright then. Erik's a nice guy once you see under his Playboy mask.
Yep.
Anyway, I have one last question for you. Some people like hearing the trigger warnings before they start games, while others don't really care and just want to play. It's cool either way, but do you want to know about some of the content listed in the game?
For you guys who are just coming in to watch this, because I'm getting new subscribers every day. You guys who are new to the channel, I guess I'll do
No problem. It's my pleasure. Well, this game is recommended for players ages 18 and up. Trigger warnings include suicide, war, torture, mentions of rape, and a large amount of violence and sexual content. Don't worry though, any sex scene choice you encounter is completely up to you. You can play this game without needing to go through the sex scenes and still get the good endings. Consent is important.
Especially for Erik's route, we are going smut all the way, so I will give you warnings if you don't want to see the sex scenes. Okay? Okay, since this is Erik's route, I'm doing smut all the way. So.
I think that should be everything. All right. Phew, that took a while.
You forgot something.
Huh? What did I forget?
You forgot about the disclaimer.
Oh, crap! Oh, how could I have forgotten about that?
It's fine, I'll take care of it. This game was produced by Michaela Laws using the Ren'Py visual novel engine. We truly hope you enjoy this story.
Thanks, Diana. Now, don't you have a war to go fight?
I do. I just wanted to make sure everything was in order before the story began. I'll take my leave now.
Thanks, Di.
Do not call me Di.
Anyway, we really do hope you like the story. Have fun! See you at the end.
See you at the end, Kay. A sweet lullaby, one you would hear as you were rocked in your mother's arms as a child. I could not help but adore such melodies with every ounce of my being, smiling whenever one would play for me. It was only fitting that I would enjoy my dreams with the sound of one playing in my head. My slumber was calm and peaceful as a sweet tune echoed in the abyss of my subconscious. I didn't know why, but I relished that tune that night. Strange, really, how a melody could calm any storm running through your heart. My storm was my engagement to Erik, my demon soulmate. Yes, he was my soulmate, my prince. At the same time, he was indeed a demon. I adored him with every ounce of my being, and I was about to be married to him in weeks ahead. I couldn't have been more nervous and excited about the whole ordeal. Still, the lullaby that floated in my dreams kept me calm and at peace. I wondered if the same music could soothe an actual child. A child's laughter broke me from my peace, causing me to slowly open my eyes and awaken from my slumber. My eyes focused on the ceiling as I tried to figure out what the sound was. Was it part of my dream? It was effective enough to wake me up. I rose from the bed, looking around the room in confusion. Why had I heard a child's laugh, and how did it wake me up? It was strange to say the very least. A child's voice? However, before I could contemplate about it further, a slight dip in the bed to my side made me gasp softly in surprise. I looked to my side to see Erik still sound asleep beside me. Oh, I want to see sleepy Erik. That would be cute. He looked so peaceful and happy, like he was absorbed in a joyful dream of his own. I couldn't help but smile at the sight before leaning down and kissing his forehead. He shifted slightly, mumbling my name. Oh, I'm gonna put my Rena, I guess, sure, whatever, even though I want to use my actual nickname. Anyway, I giggled softly. He was just too adorable for words. I truly loved him with all of my heart. You can say that again. I loved you. Still, despite wanting to stay in bed a little longer with the man of my dreams, the child's laughter ushered me to slowly creep out of bed and leave the room to find where it had come from. Turning on the lights in the lobby, I looked around the main part of the mansion to find out where the laughter had come from. There it is again! I heard the laughter trail off, as if the voice itself was moving and guiding me to where it wanted me to go. I maintained pursuit, now wanting to lose track of it. Any normal person would have been creeped out. I, however, was brave enough to figure out what was going on by myself. I was led to my grandfather's office. It was his place of work as well as his sanctuary for his magic study. I knew that he studied magic and had come to accept it during my time with Erik and his brothers. Still, it was something that I was curious about. The lights were on, but the laughter seemed to have faded away as I entered the room. Was I not in the right place? As I stepped further into the room, I felt a sense of nostalgia. Despite only ever finding the room after my grandfather's passing, something about this place made me feel warm and happy, like I belonged here. This was where my grandfather imagined his greatest toys and made them come to life. It was here where he studied endlessly about the demon world and demon magic. I felt like I was stepping into a museum of history. Thinking about it, I began to wonder what my grandfather would think if he knew that I was going to marry one of the incubi he had brought into the human world. I knew that he had been the one to do it. Damien confessed to me when Erik proposed. Oh. It was a bit interesting to think about how he would have reacted. Would he be proud? Would he be disappointed? I could never know. I was broken out of my thoughts, however, as I heard the click of a lock unlatching echo through the room. I turned my head towards the sound, pinning the origin of it on one of the nearby drawers. Why did it unlock on its own? I was a little nervous as to why it had done that. Open it! 'Cause we're curious people. I was indeed my grandfather's granddaughter. I felt my curiosity take control of my body and guide me to the drawer. Sliding it open, I saw 2 books neatly placed in the drawer, covered with a thin layer of dust. One was obviously my grandfather's magic book, and the other must have been his journal. I lifted both up and examined them, gingerly wiping the dust off of them. I wanted to read a bit more about each of them, but I wasn't sure which one to open first. Grandfather's journal. I decided to look through Grandfather's journal. Maybe he had something he wanted to show me? I wasn't entirely sure why I was doing this in the first place. I opened his journal and scanned my eyes across each page I flipped through. He had so many notes. It was hard to fathom him knowing so much about everything he wrote. He was smart, though, so it wasn't entirely surprising. One section, however, made me stop and read in depth. Demon children. On the page was a badly drawn sketch of a humanoid creature I had to assume was demon. From the size, it could have been a child. However, I wasn't entirely sure. Apparently, there were multiple demon races, not just incubi and succubi. There were hundreds, if not thousands, of different demon types, and each had their own methods on how they bred to produce children. Demons of Lilith were the most human-like in terms of pregnancy. They bear the child for a set amount of time, and the delivery, paired with magic, was seamless and painless. How would I love to live that life? However, as soon as a demon is born, the parents imbue their child's demon name into their souls. It seemed so confusing at first glance, but as I read further, I became more and more intrigued about demons and their children. Demon mothers, regardless of race, had to bear enough energy for both the mother and the child. This, along with a host of other reasons, were why females were the dominant gender in the abyssal planes. Ooh! However, if a demon bearing a child didn't have enough energy, her child would absorb the last of it and kill off the mother in an attempt to sustain itself. I swallowed thickly. Was energy that important to demons? How could a child even do that to their mother? They'd die off too. One thing was explicitly mentioned, however. Unlike humans, demons form souls in the womb, making them living beings while still forming in their mother's body. They become whatever as soon as they are conceived. It was strange to think about. Demon babies were aware that they were alive before they were born? It was intriguing. The child's laughter reappeared, softly floating through the air and making me turn toward the door. I quickly followed it, leaving the room and returning to the lobby. Is anyone there? As I turned to the stairs, I could hardly believe my eyes. A floating orb, barely the size of my head, was floating down the stairs and towards the back door. I gripped the railing and stared, not believing what I was seeing. Was this really happening? What was it even? A ghost? A spirit? Some illusion meant to trick me? I couldn't wrap my head around it. Still, it practically called for me to tail behind it. I continued to follow it. It seemed to want me to anyway. Was this a game? It led me to the backyard, where it simply floated in the air near the gazebo. I stayed by the doorway, unsure of actually stepping out of the house to meet with it. It didn't move, so I could only assume it accepted my hesitation. Hello?
Hi.
The orb gently spun around itself in a circle, almost like a happy child. For some reason, it made me feel really happy seeing it, despite it being a simple floating orb. It seemed friendly enough, so I stepped out into the backyard and slowly made my way towards it. It gently bobbed up and down, as if it was waiting for me to approach. I stopped a couple feet away from it, not wanting to get too close in case it was a trick. Hi there.
Hi. What's your name?
My name? Oh, it's Rena.
Wow, that's a pretty name.
Thank you. Who are you?
Oh, I'm no one. I don't have a name.
You don't have a name?
No. I wasn't able to get one. But that's okay. I'll get one soon.
The orb, whatever it was, had to be the spirit of some child. Human? I didn't know. I wasn't sure. All I knew was how sweet and innocent it sounded. The child's voice was pulling at my heartstrings in all the right ways. The orb twirled around again with a small laugh.
Let's play together.
Oh, what would we play? I almost couldn't believe the words coming out of my mouth. Was I really okay with playing games with the spirit? I mean, it was friendly, yes, but it was a spirit. What was I doing out in the middle of the night with it was another question I let it go of and fade away in my head as I stared at the orb. My heart felt fuzzy and warm enough to ignore the doubt niggling at my brain. The orb dipped and spun around my body, making me giggle and try to follow it. As it circled back to where it used to be, it almost bounced in the air happily.
Come on, let's dance.
I began to dance around the orb as it moved gracefully around my form. In my head, a song began to play as I had fun weaving and swaying with the orb. I felt light and happy, even though a part of my mind was questioning what I was doing. Why was I doing this? Why was I so accepting of this spirit? My body was moving on its own, but I was enjoying every minute of it. The orb followed along, matching each sway with one of its own. Soft laughter echoed from it once in a while after every couple of steps I took. It seemed to enjoy my company, which in turn somehow made me happy.
Princess?
Erik! Ah, Erik! Yay! The orb gasped and hid behind me as I stopped dancing. I turned quickly to see Erik standing by the doorframe with a confused but tired look on his face. Aww! Erik.
What are you doing out here, love?
I blushed, rubbing my hands together behind my back from embarrassment. I must have looked like a fool, dancing in the yard in the middle of the night. I turned my head to look at the orb, but gasped in surprise when I realized that it had disappeared. What? Huh?
What's wrong?
I was beyond lost and confused. What was happening? What had just happened? Please don't let it seem like Erik looks at me like I'm crazy. I don't want this. I turned back to Erik to see him walking towards me. I crossed my arms, realizing how cold the night air was, and smiled meekly at Erik. I just wanted to get some fresh air. That's all.
While dancing by yourself?
Ah, crap, you saw. I stared at Erik, not sure of what he meant. If he was watching, he would have seen the spirit dancing with me. Tell him. You didn't see the orb that was dancing with me?
Huh? Orb?
Erik raised an eyebrow, obviously not understanding what I meant. Did he really not see it? It's true. There was a spirit here that looked like an orb, and I was dancing with it. Not by myself. Please don't think I'm crazy. You're my bae. Please don't think I'm crazy. I knew I wasn't making sense. He didn't seem to believe me. Still, I didn't want to lie to him. He was going to be my husband soon, and so we had to trust each other. If my reason sounded stupid, fine, but at least it was the truth. Erik finally smiled and reached towards me before petting my head.
Did you have fun then?
Ah, yay! Wait, did he really believe me? He really did believe me? I wasn't entirely sure if he did, but from the look he gave me, he was willing to accept my answer either way. Erik gently reached out and took one of my hands, placing his other hand on my waist. I looked up at him to see his lips curve into a small, playful smirk.
Would you mind if I dance with you then, princess?
I don't mind at all. Please, let's dance. My face turned red at his question, but I smiled and nodded. I liked dancing with him. I tightened my hand over Erik's, straightening up and leaning against his chest, ready to dance. Erik chuckled softly before leading me into a slow but elegant waltz around the backyard. I felt like I needed to thank the spirit later for giving me yet another wonderful memory with Erik. He led me around the backyard as if we were at a real ball. The moon served as a brilliant crystal chandelier and the wind became our music. Eventually, however, we had to go back inside. The night was cold and it was very late. I didn't want the night to end though. Watching Erik as we walked up the stairs to the bedroom, my heart began to flutter even more and a soft heat began to burn in my core. Oh shit. He was not only charming, but he was handsome and definitely knew what buttons to press to make me feel amazing. You don't have to tell me twice. It didn't matter that he was an incubus. I really had fallen in love with him and was both romantically and sexually attracted to him. Though, did I really want to pursue my desires right now? We did just stop dancing. Go for it! Duh! What all the way? So I'm gonna warn you guys now. We're coming across our first smut scene, so if you don't want to see it, feel free to skip. Go for it. Are you still here with me? Alright then, let's go for it. The burning in my car wasn't just going to go away. As Erik and I approached our room, I quickly pulled his arm and turned him around to face me.
What?
Sexy music! Ah! Before he could finish his sentence, I jumped up and wrapped my arms and legs around him, kissing him deeply. Instinctively, he circled his arms around me to support me, but he stared in shock at my eagerness. Oops! Within seconds, he melted into the kiss and panted against my lips, making me moan in reply at the sound. He tightened his grip around me as he walked backwards towards the bed. When his legs hit the side of the mattress, he sat down and allowed his hands to roll my back. I pulled away from the kiss ever so slowly, enjoying every moment that I was still connected to his lips before letting out a small sigh. I was pretty sure I had made myself clear, but I gave him a softly spoken demand. I don't want to go to bed yet. Erik stared up at me before licking his lips and slowly running his hands under my shirt and up my back. Tingles shot up my spine as his fingers ran over my bare skin, a shuddering moan escaping my lips.
As my princess commands.
Oh my god, stop! Oh god. I need a breather. I have to splash cold water on my face when this is over. I felt Erik gently lift my shirt up, and I lifted my arms for him to fully remove it from my body before he tossed it to the side. The cool air hitting my skin made me shudder as Erik pulled me back and in for another heated kiss. Damn his hands for memorizing my body. He knew what spots to caress, making me buck my hips against his and tighten my hold on him. When I felt his smirk against my mouth, I softly bit onto his lower lip, telling him silently not to play with me. I felt the warm sensation of his enthrallment invade my body, causing me to cuddle closer against his chest and softly grind my hips against his and knee. His enthrallment was part of our foreplay, adding 10 times more pleasure to our sex. I knew that he poured every ounce of his love for me into our lovemaking. Every time he had sex was just another confession of true love between us. It wasn't just to feed hunger and desire. It became one of many ways we showed our love to each other. It was only a benefit that he was an incubus, a natural master of sex. Every touch made me tremble, and every kiss on my skin made me swoon and melt in his arms. He knew how to make me moan, how to make me crave him, how to make me shiver with ecstasy. I had been surprised to learn I was his first, and his only with how talented he was. Soon, it wasn't just my shirt that was removed from my body. Every article of clothing he and I wore ended up scattered throughout the room, unnoticed and uncared for. The only thing we cared about was each other and the pleasure we gave each other on our bed. We made sweet, passionate love, rocking to the rhythms of our hearts and our desire for each other. Every moan I made, he matched it in kind. Every breath I took, Erik found a way to make it heavier and hotter. My nails and fingers dug into his shoulders and back in pure ecstasy as he continued to drive into me over and over with his passion and love, pulling me higher and higher towards my limit. I could only tighten my legs around him, pull him to a more heated kisses, moan against his lips in desire. When we both apexed, it was a blissful and fiery ride towards a peaceful and loving wave washing over both of our bodies. Lost in my pleasure, I could only cuddle against Erik's arms as he wrapped them around me and pulled me against his chest. His feather-like kisses peppered over my forehead, making me smile.
Good night, my princess. I love you.
Aww, I love you too, Erik. Babe, whatever. I love you too, Erik. I could only close my eyes and relish the warmth Erik gave me as I let my mind escape into dreamland. To my surprise, the child didn't return. I was a bit saddened, but I didn't let my thoughts linger on it any longer. I had a peaceful dream with Erik wrapped around me all through the remainder of the night. As the morning came, however, the other incubi essentially kidnapped their brother. Despite my minor protest, knowing that we had work to do on the wedding, the brothers were relentless. Really?
We're just stealing him for a bit. We'll return him later.
You sure about that, Matthew? But we have to...
Everything will be all right. You can finish working on your dress while we keep him out of the house.
Okay, James. I can't say no to you. Whatever. I mean, yeah, but...
You could survive a day without your love slave. You're marrying him, after all. It's not like he'll be gone forever.
He's not my love slave, Sam. Shut up. My God. You could say the most ridiculous things. Oh, my God.
Everything will be all right, Princess, I promise. As soon as we're done with whatever they want to do, then I'll come straight home.
Okay. I love you. Oh, what? No, I love you too? Oh, wait, hold on. I could barely make out him saying, I love you too, as he was dragged away by his brothers. Oh, jeez. As the front door closed, I could hear Erik being thrown over someone's shoulder. Probably Sam's. Really? I sighed before looking around the mansion. Since I was indeed alone, I had the chance to try and find that spirit again. Why had I run away the first time? I quickly rushed to the backyard, looking around it. It was much brighter, yes, but perhaps the spirit was still there? Despite not being able to find it, I scoured the entire mansion in hopes of meeting the orb again. It almost became a game of hide and seek, only I didn't know if the orb was hiding or was gone. After a straight hour of looking around, I gave up. The orb was nowhere to be found, and I was certain I wouldn't meet it again. I could only let out a sigh at the thought, but I shook my head to forget about it at last. It had given me a moment with my love, so I was grateful. I went back into my room and flopped onto my bed, not really sure what to do. I could have organized what I was going to wear with my dress, but I really didn't want to pull my dress out of my garment bag it was in. Staring at the ceiling, I felt my eyelids slowly getting heavy, and soon I was letting my sudden drowsiness take hold of me. What was happening? Why did I feel like sleeping? It was close to noon. Or was it past noon? I somehow couldn't remember anymore. I allowed myself to fall asleep, blaming the search and the wedding stress that lingered in my mind for tiring me out. My body floated in the darkness, met once again by a soft and peaceful lullaby. This nap was perfect, and I definitely deserved it. My body felt comfortable, and my thoughts were lulled into a quiet hum that accompanied the lullaby in the air. The only thing that would have made it better was Erik. As if my dream wanted to please me, an image of Erik appeared in my mind. Woo! He smiled his heart-pulling smirk at me, and I felt myself become warm and fuzzy just from his gaze. As he floated over to me, I became entranced in his eyes. My voice wouldn't come out, despite wanting to say his name, but I wrapped my arms around his neck and pulled him close to me. He leaned into my embrace, ghosting his lips over mine teasingly. Was Dream Erik trying to seduce me in my own dream? I pressed forward, wanting to kiss him. We both didn't make a sound, but let our kiss relay our love for each other between our lips. My heart pounded in my chest as he wrapped his arms around my waist and pulled me even closer to him. It was strange. He felt so real in my arms. I combed my fingers through his hair, feeling the pink copper strands on the top of his head. Yet this was a dream. I knew it was a dream. His arms gently ran along my back and waist, not daring to go below it, but making wonderful shivers run up my spine with each stroke. I really liked this dream and tightened my hold on Erik, letting him know that I enjoyed his touch. Erik eventually pulled away from the kiss and smiled down at me, running a hand over my hair and caressing my cheek. I stared up at him lovingly, feeling a soft swell in my lips from the kiss we had shared. What I didn't expect was him slowly leaning down and planting a soft kiss over my chest, just over where my heart was. I stared, unsure of why he did such a thing. As my heart began to feel warm and lighter, I let a silent sigh out of my throat, feeling the pleasure of its sensation. Erik slowly backed away and disappeared, but I continued to feel a warmth over my heart sweetly emanate through my veins, like a slow adrenaline rush. What was happening to me? Tingles ran across every nerve in my body, making me shiver in delight. Whatever this was, I liked it. Soon, the warmth lulled me into a peaceful hum and I curled into myself, wrapping my arms around my body from the comfort it brought. I felt at peace while my body felt like it was embracing the warmth enveloping it. It was strange, but I accepted the restful feeling. The fuck, man? Why are you in my dream? What? Gah! Well, that's just great. From the darkness, dark laughter invaded the air, breaking the lullaby and making a sudden cold feeling wash over my skin. Before I could react, however, a large and deep pain invaded my chest, almost like a sword stabbing all the way through my body. I could not see anything of the sort as I looked down at my chest, but my hands tightened over where the pain had erupted from. What was happening? I coughed, feeling blood splash out of my mouth and drip down my lips. I gasped for air, disgusted at the coppery taste in my mouth, but I was unable to break out of the illusion. I needed to wake up. Not again! The stabbing pain ripped through my insides, as if the invisible blade in my chest unsheathed itself from my torso, and I felt a second stab through my stomach, more blood gushing from my mouth. Someone help me! I felt my body slowly start to shut down. Was I dying in my own dream? Why couldn't I wake up? Cold waves ran through my nerves, numbing my body as if I was indeed slowly dying. As blood dripped from my chin, I felt lightheaded in the darkness. But an almost violent shake broke me from my dream, forcing me to physically open my eyes.
Princess!
Erik! Ah! I gasped for air, no longer able to taste blood or feel pain. I was back in my room, staring at Erik's concerned face as he held my shoulders. I shuddered from the experience, unable to forget the feeling of being stabbed in my own dream. Erik, however, had saved me.
Love, what happened? You were thrashing around and...
I didn't let him finish. I grabbed Erik's body and slammed myself into his chest, happy to no longer be trapped in the dream and thankful he woke me from it. Erik wrapped his arms around me and gently rubbed my back, soothing me as I began to cry into his shoulder.
Did you have a nightmare?
Mm-hmm. It was terrible. I was being attacked by something in the darkness. I couldn't do anything about it.
Shh. It's okay now. You were safe. I'm right here.
Aww. I could only nod as Erik rocked me back and forth, comforting me. It may have been a dream, but I was still mortified by it. It seemed almost too real to be just a dream. I didn't want to think about it anymore. I didn't want to remember the dream, especially how horrible it was. I was supposed to be getting mentally ready for my wedding, not having nightmares about dying. Ooh. Erik kissed over my head and face, trying to soothe my sadness. He wiped away my tears and continued to hold me close until I was calm and relaxed. I tried to reassure myself that it was a dream. It was just a stupid dream. Just a nightmare. Erik gently pulled away, not releasing me from his arms, and looked down at me with a soft frown.
I'm sorry that I left. I should have been here, making sure that you had good dreams.
It's okay, Erik. Your brothers had to do something with you. I let it happen. It's okay. We'll be fine. I shook my head. Erik needed to spend time with his brothers. See? It was important enough to him that he let himself be dragged away by them. Yep. No. It's all right. I'll be fine.
Are you sure, Princess?
Yeah, I'm sure. I had to shake it off. I didn't know what was going on, but now Erik was here and could be with me in case anything else happened. After I had finally calmed down, Erik told me about what the boys had done. They took Erik to a cafe deep in downtown Chicago, just wanting to have a brother-to-brother talk with him. I was happy he got to spend time with them, but Erik had practically rushed home to return to me. Aw, he cared about me. I'm happy now. Being honest, I really want to visit Chicago, but yeah, I will probably visit later on in my future. Who knows? The dream did not appear again that night. Erik used his powers to enter my dreams and kept me safe from anything that tried to hurt me, and thankfully, nothing did. However, there was a strange feeling in my gut that didn't sit right with me. For some reason, Erik's comfort didn't make me feel okay. Are you serious? No, this is not what I want. It was as if I didn't want him to be in my dreams. No! No, this is not acceptable. My heart knew this was a problem, but I was unsure of how to respond to this new feeling. Slowly, as the days passed by and our wedding approached, the feeling became more aggressive. Soon, I was becoming irritated more easily. Oh my god. No, if I lash out at Erik, oh my god, I need to go slap myself. I became angry at the smallest things. The steps he took, the things he'd wear, the looks he gave me or what I assumed he gave me. Oh my god. We're bitching on him about everything. No, this is not right. I don't want this. No, Erik, I don't want to do anything right now. I have to do my angry voice at him. This is going to hurt my heart and soul.
Love, I didn't say any.
You're looking at me with those sex eyes again. Why did you make me say that?
Sex eyes? I swear, I wasn't doing anything of the sort.
You're doing it now. I couldn't control the words that were flying out of my mouth. Something was wrong, but I continued to speak cruelly towards Erik. My heart was at odds with my mind, and I didn't know why I was doing it, but I continued my barrage. You can hear my heart physically break from this. Like, why?
Love, what is going on?
What's going on? You are what's...
I'm sorry.
Oh, no. That's... Dang it. I felt Erik's enthrallment take over my body, forcing me to go weak in the knees and meal out in surprise. My mind stopped thinking about attacking Erik, and my heart felt entirely relieved that the urge was gone. Erik gently wrapped his arms around me, but sure to keep his arms around my shoulders, and rocked with me, trying to calm me down.
Love, are you having doubts?
No, I'm not having doubts. Something is making me say these things, and I'm not saying what it is, because... I know, but the character does it that you guys don't know, and I don't want to say. And I'm upset. No, I'm not. I don't know what
You swear you're not having doubts about us?
I promised. I was able to speak the truth under his spell. It was strange. It was like I was under a curse when I wasn't under his enthrallment, somehow despising every little thing Erik did. Yet I knew it wasn't true. I loved everything about him, but my mind wouldn't agree. I gripped Erik's shirt, wanting to stay close and show my true feelings for him.
Listen to me, okay? I love you so much. If you have any doubts on us getting married, then please just tell me. I don't know what's going on in your beautiful head.
I love you too. I really, really do. I don't know what's happening to me. It made no sense. Why did I despise Erik, yet love him? My mind, heart, and body were at odds with each other, and I wasn't sure what to do. This went on all the way until our wedding day. Somehow, Erik managed to deal with me the entire time, enthralling me when things became rough to keep me calm. The other incubi tried to decipher what was going on with me, but none of them could figure it out. I was going to marry Erik, and then I was going to figure out what was wrong with me. I knew I still loved him with every inch of my heart, mind, body, and soul, so feeling disdain like this was not natural for me. I had asked Erik to place me under enthrallment for our wedding, in case I lashed out again. He reluctantly agreed and stayed with me the morning of our wedding day. I was supposed to dress alone and be by myself, but I needed Erik to keep me in check. I felt ridiculously warm and fuzzy as I stood in the bathroom, having come out of a hot shower with Erik. We didn't do anything together, but he remained close. That's fine with me. enough to keep me enthralled and remain energized through enough to maintain the enthrallment. Erik gently ran my brush through the strands of my hair, being as sweet and caring as he always was towards me. Because of the enthrallment, I felt each stroke and derived so much pleasure from his brushing. It was hard not to moan. Really? For brushing hair? Jesus Christ.
Well, love, today's the big day.
Yeah, I'm so happy.
I truly hope so. I'm the happiest man alive to be able to soon call you my wife.
I want to be your wife. I want you to be my husband. I felt like crying. Why did I have to be enthralled to say such things? I really loved him, but somehow I couldn't bring myself to say it without him casting his spell over me. Erik looked at me through the bathroom mirror and gently smiled, believing me and placing a small kiss on my cheek.
By the way, are you using a new soap?
Oh, that's adorable! Look at it, that's adorable! Okay. Huh? I looked at Erik, unsure of what he meant. I had used the same soap as I always used, so my scent shouldn't have been different. Really? You had to do... Okay. Erik tilted his head and gently inhaled again before smiling a little wider.
You smell different. I kind of like it.
I blushed not because of the enthrallment, but because I didn't know I had a different smell. Was something that off about me? It couldn't have been that drastic, right? Erik finished brushing my hair and smiled, kissing my head.
All right, time for you to get into your dress. I'm afraid that I can't join in dressing you as much as I want to. Can't see the bride in her gown before the wedding. I also have to get to the ceremony venue to get my tuxedo. However, my enthrallment should stay on you until you arrive.
I tried to fight back, but Erik held up his finger.
No. I promise that everything will be okay. As soon as I see you, I'll enthrall you again, and we can go through the ceremony as planned. Okay?
As much as I wanted to fight it, I was thankful that Erik was willing to go through all of this to make sure that I wouldn't throw a fit, despite me not wanting it to in the first place. I agreed and earned a small kiss from him, which I relished.
All right. I love you. I'll see you soon.
I nodded, smiling back at him before he slipped on his regular clothes and left the mansion. I felt the enthrallment on me ebb and flow through my body, so I needed to hurry and get ready before it wore off. I got dressed in the wedding dress of my dreams and smiled as I prepared my hair and jewelry. It really did look like the perfect bride, ready for her big day. Why I was acting out against it, I would never know, but I was going to fix this after saying I do. As I stared at myself, I could see a small glow around my body. Was it Erik's spell? I giggled, wrapping my arms around myself and enjoying the feeling his spell had on me.
I knew it! I knew it! That girl has demon magic!
What the?
Then quit talking and let's take her! The Demon Lord will be so pleased.
Fuck these guys. Just fuck them. Ugh, goddamn. Alright, so we are going to explore again. There was no way I was letting this chance pass me by. I stood and walked towards the door, opening it a crack and looking around. There was no one in the hall, but there were two directions to go. Which way? Okay, I'm gonna save here. Let's see, I'll save. Yes, I'm sure. Let's go. We're gonna go right. I went with right. I closed the door behind me as I exited my room and began to make my way down the right corridor. Everything was definitely medieval style, and I felt a bit small in the hall. It was like I was in a fairy tale, walking around in a wedding dress. It felt almost dreamlike. The passage seemed long, decorated with walls, candles, paintings, and random curtains and flowers. It was mystical to see, and I smiled. As I approached another fork in the hall, however, I sighed. Really? How does anyone find their way around? I looked back, knowing I hadn't walked far from my room. I could turn back. Yet. Let us go left! I was heading right, so I decided to try the opposite direction this time around. I turned left and headed down the hall, greeted by more fantastical decor. The hallways began to almost drive me nuts. I felt myself going upstairs, then downstairs, then wound up in a four-way corridor. Where have I landed myself? I became frustrated. Maybe giving in to my curiosity was a bad idea. However, the sound of an argument traveled through the air and caught my attention.
And you brought me this why?
Sir, the Rebel Queen demanded it be brought here along with the other materials.
A flower is not important to the ritual. Throw it away or something.
But, sir...
I don't want to hear it! Get out!
That sounded like Shadow. Damn, he's got problems. From a nearby door, a man dressed in a dark cloak holding a white lily-like flower practically ran out. He left the door ajar but let out a sigh before turning to walk away, not noticing me. What the? Shadow! I walked over and peeked in, seeing that the room was a library. It was huge, and in the middle of it, by a table covered in books, was the lanky man who cast the shadow spell before.
I know you are there, human.
Oh. Hi! How did he know? What? Was he able to smell me or something? The man turned to look at me from over his shoulder. He is an assassin. How would he not know that I'm there? Hello? Shadow manipulator? An assassin? I can't even. Okay.
Please don't just stand there. If you wish to come in, then come in. I'm not fond of people peeking into doorways.
Fine. I'll come in. I stepped into the room, not wanting to be rude. The man turned towards me and crossed his arms, taking in my full form.
Well, what may I help you with?
Huh? Oh, I was just wandering around. I didn't mean to intrude on anything.
You needn't. You'll be returned to the human world soon enough.
I bit my lip. He was right. I really didn't need to wander around if I was never going to return. Still, my curiosity was pulling me to Mimi, to explore the castle, and there I was in a library. Well, I simply wanted to see more of the place I happened to land in.
I see. And have you found anything of interest in your little exploration?
I found this library, didn't I?
That you have.
The man turned back to the table as I took a moment to look around. There were so many books, it was almost dizzying to peer at them all. How much information was stored here? The man glanced at me as he continued to work on whatever he was focusing on.
I'm curious about something, human. Since you're here, you can answer this.
I turned back to the man as he straightened up and faced me once again.
Are you well versed in war?
Excuse me? That came out of nowhere. Why would he expect a woman in a wedding dress to know about war? Yeah, exactly. No, I can't say that I am. Humans tend to try and stay out of war.
Truly? I'm surprised. I've heard that your world is ruled by multiple leaders and beliefs. How are you not constantly at war?
Well, we try to maintain peace as calmly as possible. Although, America's turning to shit. So, I don't know what's gonna happen, but we're trying to stay out of war. Let's put it that way. From the tone of his voice, it almost sounded like he was mocking me. Did he think little of humans? I glared. We try and maintain peace because we all know we're different. We don't always agree on things, but we all mostly agree that war is bad, so we avoid it. There we go. The man took one more look up and down my form, most likely searching for some physical sign that I was lying or exaggerating. When he seemed to notice that I wasn't, he rubbed his chin gently as he leaned back against the table behind him.
Humans are such interesting creatures. You have your own societies and countries, ruled by presidents and governments. You are ununited, and yet you thrive. I wonder if the demon world can benefit from such a seemingly ignorant agreement.
Okay? Look, Shadow, I like you, but sometimes your arrogantness gets to me and I just want to slap you across the face. Was he being serious right now? Why was he being stuck up? I crossed my arms, glaring harder at him. Why does it matter to you what the human world does? You're a demon. Things we do there don't affect anything here.
Ah, but that is where you are mistaken.
The man walked around the table and gestured to the books and maps that had covered its surface.
When fighting a war, you need to look at all of the details to try and find the most efficient ways to bring your enemy down. When resolving it, you must be able to not only bring peace, but you must also know how to manage the land you have conquered in the aftermath.
Oh, I see. I looked at the map to see multiple routes and ideas plastered over the parchment. Was he seriously doing this much research for this war? However, the man simply crossed his arms.
Unfortunately, I suppose that research on the human world would be for naught. We are two different worlds, after all. Yours is built on steel and electricity, while our world is flooded with magic and stone.
I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Why was he even talking to me at this rate? The man smirked at the agitated look on my face and chuckled. What's so funny?
I guess it's also true that humans are easily angered. Your expression gives you away so easily.
Shut up, man! I growled before turning on my heel and leaving the library. Rude ass. I can't help it. It's true. He's a little too arrogant, even though he is cute and sarcastic. Love the sarcastic remarks. He's a little too arrogant. That makes me want to slap him across the face. I was better off in my room. Whoop-de-doo! Back in the room. The guys! My heart almost stopped. Falling from the chair and landing on the table were the 5 incubi brothers. They were piled on top of one another, having come through one at a time. However, as the last brother landed, the boys fell to one side, toppling off of the table and landing on the floor. The rebels around me stared at the fallen pile of incubi, confused and surprised. As the tear in the air closed, the ogre man was the first to lower his sword.
What the hell? Who are they?
Careful, they could be the Demon Lord's men.
No! The rebels looked to me as I stood up, Diana following and still protecting me, and I stared at the boys on the ground. They all looked dazed and a bit shell-shocked from having fallen twice in rapid succession. I almost couldn't believe it. There they were, right in front of me. My mind couldn't help but remember how I had first met them. They had all been on the floor of my mansion, unconscious and wounded. Now, they were in front of me in the demon world. I know them. Guys! Hi! Hi, Erik. Hi. Oh, wait. I've been in the demon world for a day, and I think the enthrallment came off, so... Oh my god, if I don't go and hug Erik, like I normally do with all the other guys, I'm going to be so upset. I stared at the one I was meant to marry, seeing him slowly shake his head and rise from the ground. They came to rescue me. He came to rescue me. My heart became overjoyed and full of warmth and happiness. I was going to go home. The question was, how? As the sight of the boys kept the demon's attention, a second tear opened above them, causing everyone to look up. 4 women dropped down from the tier and somehow managed to fall into the arms of the incubi behind Erik. It's their wives! Wow!
I gotcha!
Still shipping them.
Whoa! Are you okay?
Yes, still my OTP. Shipping, yeah.
I gotcha! It's okay!
They're OTP material too! James!
Whoa! Are you alright?
Shipping them as well. I stared wide-eyed. Their wives came too? I watched as the boys and the girls finally planted themselves on the ground before looking around. As Erik spotted me, however, he began to rush towards me.
Princess!
Ah! Erik! Let me embrace in your arms! Let me go! I want a hug! I wanted to rush back to him. I wanted to run over and wrap my arms around his neck. I missed the touch of his lips, his embrace. Yet my body would not allow me to move forward. No! This is not right! Come on! I want to go hug my bae. God damn it. In fact, I sheed away, whatever. Wow. Well, whatever. I sheed away and hid behind Diana, gripping her waist and averting my eyes from him. Are you serious? Behind Diana?
What the?
Still?
I shut my eyes, despite my heart screaming at me to turn towards Erik. I knew that he would enthrall me to break this hold on me, so I wanted to look at him and let him. However, my body continued to duck behind Diana's body, avoiding Eric's gaze. As I heard Erik step forward, Diana wrapped an arm around her and placed an arm back around her and placed it on my back. For some reason, I felt comforted by her touch. Was she casting a spell on me?
Diana, if you please.
Not until you explain what is going on. Why does she hide from you?
I assure you, it's not what you think.
I will not repeat my question.
I felt Diana's hand clench over my back. I felt unnatural elation wash over me at the protection she was providing me. But my heart cried out for Erik. Erik!
She does want to see Erik. Something's stopping her from doing that.
Thank you, Damien, for understanding what I am going through right now.
And I'm supposed to believe this.
God damn it, Diana.
Please, just let me.
I watched from Diana as her guard quickly stepped forward and placed himself between Diana and Erik, spear pointing at my incubus. Zero, no! Back away from Erik! Don't do this! Do not do this!
I suggest not taking another step forward.
Wait!
Rabbit! The rabbit-eared woman, in the midst of the tension, quickly rushed over to me and bent down to look at me directly in the eyes. I looked at her, trying to convey my need to see Erik through my eyes.
Hold still, okay?
What are you?
Ostendemi kotum.
Staring into the woman's eyes, I watched as a warm gold hue painted over her sweetly pale blue eyes before she closed them. As if something had been unlocked, a large click resonated through my mind. All at once, I felt my will take control and I stood up straight, now finally able to do what I desired without any resistance.
Love.
Erik! Yes, finally! I quickly ran around Diana and rushed toward Erik, wrapping my arms around his neck and feeling him envelop me in his own arms. His warm embrace made my heart squeeze in my chest as I held him close to me. I smiled as Erik kissed over my cheeks, his embrace conveying how beyond happy he was to have me back, willingly, in his arms. Kiss him! Kiss him! Kiss him! I tightened my arms around Erik and tilted my head to kiss him. My heart fluttered at the touch and taste of his lips against mine. He eagerly kissed me back, tightening his hold on me lovingly. Diana turned to the rabbit-eared woman with a look of pure confusion on her face.
What? Just...
Oh, God.
She's under some sort of secondary spell. Repulsion, it seems. What I cast on her was an emotional release spell, and that temporarily removed the hold on her.
But she's been here a full day, and none of us felt any sort of hold on her.
Well, we didn't exactly figure out that she was cursed either.
See? See what I mean?
Cursed?
I felt Erik's hold on me tighten as I looked up at his face. He looked to Diana with an expression full of concern and confusion. As I heard Diana sigh, I turned slightly to watch her cross her arms.
Yes. She's been cursed by the Demon Lord. She cannot leave until she dies or until we kill him.
The incubi looked at each other in surprise, but Erik kept his eyes to Diana and kept me tight in his embrace.
I'm assuming you plan to kill the Demon Lord, right? When will this happen?
Yes, in 1 week's time.
1 week?
The white top shifted into a long-sleeved, oversized tunic with a leather corset and vest, while the bottom part of my gown split and wrapped around my legs, forming into dark leggings. My shoes stretched into long, knee-high boots.
Wow. Very nice outfit.
Thanks, Norin. I still love the kitty stockings because I want them so bad. I blushed, getting used to the feeling of the outfit. The corset wasn't tight, but it was still something new along with the rest of the garb. Erik, however, smiled down at me and kissed over my forehead.
You look wonderful, Princess.
Thank you, Erik. Thank you.
Faye, Rabbit, you both should finish your preparations and head over to the Demon Lord's castle for the spell.
How are you going to get there?
I'll get us there, no problem. Just make sure we don't get stuck there or lost. No promises.
Zero, make sure the job is done.
I shall, my lady.
Zero, Faye, and Rabbit began to make their way out of the room as Diana turned to me and my group. As they left, Diana let out a small sigh.
I will take you to some rooms you may rest in.
Thank you, Diana. Diana merely nodded and led our group out of the room towards our new temporary rooms. And I'm going to stop here for this episode. oh god, so many twists and turns, and I'm not liking this because I can't get to hug Erik and all that stuff, and you have to be enthralled and all this crap. Anyways, I'll continue in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of my videos, then click subscribe. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video.